it seems like some sort of, well, big bang, something happened to you. Well, you broke up with your girlfriend, or maybe she broke up.
Depends who you ask.
Okay. Was that a big bang for you?
Yeah, it was a catalysator that changed everything. I mean, it wasn't just. I mean, it's nice to think of it mythologically as the broken heart made me a musician, but it was more than that. It was, as I said, I was studying animation, and then I started working as an animator, and I moved to Tel Aviv from Jerusalem, where I grew up. And the difference between Jerusalem and Tel Aviv is like LA and New York. It's like an opposing city, you know. And I moved to Tel Aviv because of her, and we lived together for a long time. And I worked in an animation studio, and everything was going great. And because we were drifting apart and we were falling out of love, and suddenly it was gone, and I didn't have to stay in Tel Aviv anymore. And then I thought, okay, I'm not going to stay in that apartment. I'm going to go back, and then I'm not going to keep my job. And then I realized that I don't like my job as an animator anymore. And
How come?
So I don't know. It didn't give me the immediacy that I needed to explain myself to myself and to the world. And when I started making music, I found that that gives me that instant outlet. You know, I could write a song very quickly. Up until today, I write very quickly, and I have to let it out. I have to sing it. It wasn't enough just writing it. Just singing it was Freudian in the sense that it was hearing myself sing these words and thoughts and feelings, and it made it made it as a source of therapy for me, and that was what I needed in my art.
Can you take us back to, well, the first song that you wrote? Was it? Did you just pick up the guitar accidentally, or did you just? Well,
No, not really accidentally. I had a friend, a girl that I knew who was an amazing guitar player, and she was just starting her own thing then. She was playing guitar for other people, and then she started writing her own songs, and she released this EP. And that was just kind of at that junction where I was. And I used to go to see her play music in little clubs, and I saw how she released that EP, and I saw how she performed in front of 20 people in an audience, and something clicked, and I knew that I want to try it out. I knew that when I saw her on stage, I knew that I felt less comfortable seeing her on stage than wanting to be on stage, and I felt that I need to try to do that as well. And I went back to the guitar kind of maybe because of her, I don't know.
How good were you at the guitar back then?
Very bad, very bad. I knew 3, 4 chords. But it was enough. It was enough because it wasn't about... Also, when I was an animator, I mean, when I studied, I was a very good animator, and I did very well. But my strength was never... I was never an amazing... I can paint and draw, I can sketch, but I'm not amazing as some of the people in my class were. They had technical abilities that I would never have, and I never wanted. I just wanted to. I liked the fast sketching, just do whatever you need, the least amount of time that you need to do to go through in order to get that emotion out as precisely as you need to, and I think it's the same with songwriting, not my production. I mean, after the song is written, I like to kind of go into the details and arrange it and produce it right. But the songwriting itself, the words, the melody, the harmony, it's there in an hour or two.
What was the first song you wrote?
Well, I don't remember. Maybe I know that the first song I recorded was This Cool. It's called This Cool. It was an EP that I released called Now That You're Leaving, just before I even started to look for a band, and before I met the Mojos.
Were you heartbroken?
Yeah.
And how?
I wasn't heartbroken. I was devastated. I met that girl when I was 19. We were together until I was 25, even a bit more. It was 6.5 years. That that's all back then. That was all my adult life. That's what I knew from life. And And I was devastated.
Do you still see her?
No. No, I moved on. I mean, it's funny because I talk about that relationship a lot because people ask me how I started making music, but I really, I don't miss her at all. I mean, time is the most hurtful and the most healing of things. I mean, it's the happiest moment that you know that you can be healed by time, but it's also the saddest because it means that, you know, everything can get, you know, all these high contrasts can get grayer and grayer. So, I don't know.